to Hang Time. I have shifted positions. Dan Young is across from me. This is our BCAM segment as we are going to wrap up. Well, for the most part, Derek Blaylock will come in and we've got a little highlight thing to show you. We want your participation in that. But right now, we want to talk about Reaching Higher. In fact, this is Reaching Higher Week on the State Channel Sports Network. So we had Dan doing our MHSA minute, kind of giving the overall structure, kind of what it is and when it started. And then we also talked about it in our Fast Break segment and basically when it is and what an athlete is going to experience at Reaching Higher. But now let's get into some of the questions. And you've been getting inundated, just in terms of what's happening and how things should go, so right. Take it away.
So to give you the history, okay, the NCAA has, this is Miles Brand, who was the president of Indiana University with Bob Knight, all that Miles Brand, who has since passed. And that he was with the NCAA pushing to get some of these events in the summer to be run by high school coaches. That's what we do. That's what we want to do. So in 2009, the MHSAA approached us, and we were working together on let's try to run an event. At that time, the state of Indiana ran an event, and we started ours very similar to Indiana. We called it Reaching Higher. It has basically been an improved model till now. It has been a certified event. It's been a non-certified event. One year we had to take it off because the certification changed to where each high school coach would have to pay upwards of $100 to work a one-day event because of the certification process, fingerprinting, all these things. It's so now with the FBI coming out with this boom of, what I think most of us probably knew that there is some things going on behind the scenes when it comes to boys recruiting. The NCAA started the Condoleezza Rice. She's the head of this new committee to try to clean up summer recruiting period. So the NCAA decided to give high schools 2 weekends in June to run events. That looks like from the outside that we would fill every minute of that. But here's how it really works. The NCAA established or gave the National Federation of High School Coaches, or high schools, the certification process. And MHSAA is a National Federation High School governed by the National Federation High School. So every state who are in the National Fed can run an event through, in our instance, through the MHSAA office. So when I'm on conference calls with other states and saying, how are we going to work this out? Actually, Indiana and Michigan are the leaders. We've been doing this since 2009. This is the exact event that all states could run. So from that perspective, it's very exciting. We could get into why are we only going one day? Why aren't we going full team camps? There's a lot more that's to it when it comes to that. So because this June are new dates, we decided to move the guys and the girls to June as opposed to July. We used to fight AAU, and our best players would obviously be going to big tournaments, which they should be. And so we always fought that. That's why we went non-certified, so we could at least get a good window of kids for D2 and below, junior college, NAI, D3 and such. So that's where we're at right now. It being moved to June, we decided that our feeling is we're hearing that the girls' window will also hopefully be moved to June next year. And so when it comes to cost, and again, the NCAA gives us no money to run these events. These are run by volunteers. We have to rent facilities. We have to get gear. And we can't use any sponsors for the gear because of the Nike and Adidas. And I mean, we'd love to use them, but there's a lot of stipulations. The certification process from the National Fed has not even come out yet. So we're hoping in the next any day now in February, we're going to get the exact process of how we apply to run Reaching Higher. We're going to go ahead and run it. We feel that the certification will be through the MHSAA will be sufficient, but we're still not there yet. It's been that quickly of a change. So I know I'm long-winded here, but that's where we're at right now. I have been in contact with the men's Division I assistants and head coaches and anybody I can get a hold of during this entire process. And so when a lot of coaches say, we should run team camps, there's a lot of things we could do and we would maybe do down the road. But as I spoke to our college coaches in our state, there are 7 Division I men's programs. And when I say men's, because it's moved to June because of the men, the mandate from the NCAA about the men's side, I've been in contact with those coaches, and they have established team camps. And so to disrupt that and the funding that goes back to their school, we weren't ready to, nor was the MHSAA jump on board to full team camps for entire weekends. So the model we're hearing in the country is one-day showcases, at least for this summer, sprinkled in June. So Ohio will have a day. Indiana will have a day. Michigan, Wisconsin. Other states have chosen not to run events. So that's been a big problem. So the example, New York, the state of New York, they have 3 associations. So they have the MHSAA, would be the most of the state, example, MHSAA. But then their New York City Public and their New York City Private are separate associations. They play for separate state championships. So New York City Public and New York City Private are considered affiliate to the National Federation of High Schools. They're not invited to the June events. So can you, again, they don't get to come because they're not National Fed. As of right now, we are working. New York is meeting with the NCAA and saying New York City public kids deserve an opportunity to be in an event in June, as well as the suburban kids in New York. Texas is the same thing. North Carolina and South Carolina. The Zion Williamson kid, everybody knows about him. He's unbelievable. He went to a private school in South Carolina. He would not have been invited. So because the National Federation has been asked, or the NCAA gave it to the National Fed, they're going to govern it the way they are going to govern it, which is only their schools. So in our state, it's 99.9% of our schools are National Fed. In other states, it's a problem.
Okay. So that's a lot of
It's a
information.
lot.
Yeah, and this is good.
I apologize.
No,
but
that's great.
It's a lot.
This is the platform. I think we can carry this conversation into future weeks. So what you can do is, obviously, after watching this, you have questions, submit them to us. You can put it on our Facebook feeds. You can comment there. You can send us emails. Contact us at statechampsnetwork.com. We have Dan here. We can get to some of those and address
Absolutely.
some of those, and maybe we'll do that next week. Quickly, just before we let you go, the day of the event and where it is.
Okay, the day will be Sunday, June 23rd at Milford High School. And you may ask, why Milford High School? Well, they have 5 floors, fully air-conditioned. We used to do it at South Line. It was perfect. It was great. And there's other facilities that are great. But Milford, kind of middle of the state, a lot of people can get to it, and it has air-conditioned because one year we had a nightmare where kids were sliding around. So it's one of the things that Milford has done a great job. Their athletic director is just a tremendous help.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to believe we're talking about air conditioning, but it will warm up. Believe us. So, and then quickly, how do the application deadline and how do coaches submit applications? So
the entire month of February will be the nomination process from BCAM coaches. Obviously, we want everybody to be a BCAM member, but if a student athlete is not a BCAM member, they can play for a BCAM member coach. They can still be nominated by a coach. March 1st is the deadline.
Okay, and we do have the BCAM registration deadline.
Yes,
February
15th is our last day. When it strikes midnight, we are done, no exceptions, and and then we start our all our awards process and nominating everybody for all the things that they do.
All right, and there's a lot, and it's great. Go to bcam.org to check it out. Dan Young will be here next week. So thanks for doing this, and we'll just keep the conversation going.